Hi, I'm Pete Sutton with Marathon Coach, and today we're going to talk about our electronics racks on the coaches. This is one of those things that when you look at them, you just basically see the face of them. It looks impressive, but you never really understand just how much work goes into them. So today we're going to talk to Michael Scholes. Okay, so Michael actually assembles the cabinets, and we're going to run you through kind of the geeky front end of it, which is what the components do, and then we're going to show you in the end, what does it do for you. So Michael, why don't we take a shot at, well, this is a lot of gear.
So, it is a lot of gear.
So why don't you run us through some of it and tell me what you think.
Absolutely. So I always like to think of the electrical of the coach as more of the central nervous system. If it were a body, just the electrical inputs that's being sent through the coach to operate amazing equipment such as this. So over here we have a lot of the power supplies, power cords. These are all supporting components that will operate everything that you see here. So there's a lot of network stuff, there's a lot of video amplifying, there's Apple TV components, a lot of stuff here. And this is the things that go behind the actual rack. The stuff that'll go behind the main components that are right here. I start off with this DMMD 8x8 media switcher. It operates the HDMI. So the reason we have this is it operates all the HDMI at a high level, audio, video, input, output. And then I like to add this component on next, which is an Anthem MRX. It's an audio receiver. After I install this into the rack.
Let me back you up just a little bit. I got a question about this big guy. So if I remember correctly, this is a Crestron unit, correct?
That is a Crestron unit, yes.
Okay, so we are a Crestron company. We love to use them, and we've installed more Crestron on the West Coast than anybody else.
Yes.
So now if I remember correctly, Michael, that is designed so that you can actually move signals from TV to TV without having a Blu-ray player at every TV.
Every single TV, that is correct.
Okay, so that doesn't just work for that, does it? It takes any HDMI signal from any of the other components or receivers as well?
It does,
and
actually.
moves it around from TV to TV?
Right, from the DSS, the satellite units, yes it does. It operates everything all in conjunction with that.
Okay, so that one's kind of an essential part. It seems simple, but we would have had a lot more Blu-ray players without that box.
I think we would have had a lot of everything if we didn't have that box.
Okay.
So the next component is this Anthem MRX, which is an audio receiver. This is pretty much everything but the kitchen sink. This is state of the art, quite amazing. Very nervous when I install it. After that, I install these amps, which are per zone in the coach. 4 of them, Paradigm 45 watt amps.
So there's the amplifiers for the speakers.
For the speakers.
And this receiver is basically an audio, is it all audio?
This one is all audio. There is some HDMI capability with it as well.
Okay, got it.
This is a Zector Pro audio receiver. It has tone control, bass balance, lip sync delay, so it doesn't sound like a Godzilla movie. The lips are moving, but that's not synced up with the mouth.
So that sounds very similar to this. It just has some extra features?
There are some extra features. Actually, all of our RCA cables run through this, and some of them link into the receiver.
Got it.
With the Zector. Next is the Shiny Bow. And the Shiny Bow is a UHD HD 2K HDMI routing switch. It operates and supports full HDMI resolution for the video. After that, I install this C3PN, which is a Crestron item as well, a Crestron processor. This one also is pretty impressive. It has immense power. It has numerous integrated control ports, makes for a highly customized AV experience.
Now, does that also affect our ability to kind of move things around from TV to TV? What is that what it's for?
This actually operates quite a lot of things. It has the capability as well as directing all of the emitters from a lot of the things that you see here, including Apple TV, the DSS units, and all the emitters are actually controlled through that. Okay. And I can show you in the coach how it's operated through the iPad.
Got it, okay. Okay, Michael, so I know with our coaches, they're set up with stationary satellite dishes, and they're also set up with InMotion.
Right.
But why 3 satellite receivers?
So we have one InMotion satellite, and the InMotion satellite, in comparison to the standard satellite, is so when the driver is driving, people are able to view or use one of the satellites because you're not able to watch. The driver's not able to watch, and it's deactivated per regulations in driving. So that's why we have one InMotion and we have one stationary, and then we have a DVR, which is the digital recording, so they are able to record whatever is coming through on the satellites.
Okay, got it. All right, Michael, so we're in coach 1292. This is a brand new coach for us.
Yep.
You got to work on this one, didn't you?
I did.
Okay, all right. So all those beautiful pieces of equipment, it all looks awesome in the back, which we will be taking a look at, but what does it do for everybody?
So basically what it chalks up to is making this as convenient as possible for the customer. So everything that I have worked on and everything that our entire electrical team has worked on, regular electrical, audio, visual, everything that we've worked on as a team comes down to customer convenience, where all of the stuff that is in the back of the rack is now easily accessible at the hands of the customer through an iPad.
Why don't we show them what it would be like if we actually weren't using the Crestron system in the iPad. So I know we store these in here.
Here is what you would have to deal with every single component.
And if I remember, this is about a third of the actual remotes, correct?
That is correct.
So I think the rest of them are stored in the bay. So you would actually have to keep control of all of these if we didn't have the Crestron system.
That's correct.
So what does it all funnel down to? What's the remote look like in the coach?
The remote looks very simple. So this is what it comes down to, the iPad, which will control all of the functions that I've basically shown you with all those remotes. Basically what we have here, we have climate control, TechLink system, lights, shades, awnings, security, and we have a bunch of other stuff, including the enable sat antenna, TV on, all zones off or on. Then we can go into a specific zone, whether it's salon, slide out bedroom, etc. Say we choose salon, and we have all the options that I had explained earlier with the components I had, Apple TV, DSS, DVR, Blu-ray, AM, FM, sat radio, LED, and all those other options. So here we are. This is what it all boils down to. One of the most convenient things about the iPad is that it's magnetized to this launch port over here, which is attached to the wall. So instead of having to use a charger or plug in a cord, you just set it right there on the wall. It's perfectly magnetized on the wall, and at the same time it's charging the components so that you don't have to use the cord.
All right, Michael, so we're in the back of the coach, and we generally store these things two places. One would be back here, and don't we also put some in the bays?
We
correct?
do.
Okay, so tell me what we got here.
Okay, on an X model in comparison to an H model coach, the rack goes in the very back, and on this is a mid-Atlantic rails, slide pull, and shelving for all of the other components. So what I have here, in addition to what I've already explained on the bench, is we have two Blu-ray players. Instead of them going elsewhere in the coach, they go directly back here with everything, so it's all centralized.
Got it. So what about if, let's say that you guys ever wanted to change a component or you wanted to work on it? How easy is it to actually get to this? Because I know these things are a lot deeper than what we're seeing here.
As nice as this looks, we have to make sure that serviceability is very important, especially for other technicians that might have to work on it. So the slide out system that we have here,
oh my gosh, that's cool,
is able to pull completely out. It has the capacity to swivel a little bit, but even a little bit is enough for a service technician to operate on it.
Oh my gosh, look how clean it is.
I like working for this company. I've had a lot of fun operating the systems, the AV systems. It's given me quite a bit of challenges, blood, sweat, and tears, but that's aside the point.
All right, so obviously all the wiring is quite neat and tidy, but what about these white labels I see everywhere?
The white labels indicate exactly what the wire is, so we have a lot of spares, and we have a lot of wires that have direct ports that they have to go into. If we didn't have any labels on anything, it would be confusing for any service technicians in the future to operate on. This way it's a map, and I work with the electrical engineers who help designate which wire has which label so that everything is identified.
So you're saying everything in here has been pre-engineered out?
It has been.
Okay, because I know not everybody does that. That's kind of put together willy-nilly. You actually have a roadmap when you put this thing together?
Yeah, I actually have about 10 pages of audio-visual diagrams and schematics that I operate with the wiring labels on every single one of them.
Wow, that's impressive. Michael, while you're putting that back, I got a chance to talk to our engineer, Dave Dolby, about this, and he was telling me that once a year he goes through and reevaluates whether these components, each one individually, is in the top 3 rankings. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So how often do these components change out? I mean, is it just, do they kind of, some of them kind of stay at the top, or does every once in a while one of these things get dropped in favor of something even better?
Some stay at the top just because if it isn't broke, why fix it? But there is always the improvement factor, always how can we make this better? How can we make this product stronger and better optimally for the customer to have good audio and visual? So every now and again we do have a component that switches out. This component, the Anthem MRX, has recently swapped out from what it previously was, but it's been a welcome change.
Okay, good. Well, there you have it. So thank you, Michael.
Absolutely.
That turned out really good. We enjoyed being able to talk to you, and I know for Marathon, we've always been excited about the company and how it always has not only the best technicians, but they do work with and strive for the best components, and just to make it the best experience possible for our clientele. Okay, well, thanks for your time, Michael. This turned out really good.
My pleasure.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.